We'll begin with this Fox News alert. The House is set to vote in just a few hours on whether to kick out Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene from her committee assignments over some incendiary statements she made before she was elected. It will be one of the first times in recent memory that the majority party has targeted the committee spot of a minority party member. And Republicans are warning the move will set an awful precedent. While Marjorie Greene has drawn condemnation from both sides of the political aisle, many Republicans say the move will come back to haunt Democrats. Congressman Louis Gohmert says, quote, "They'll start a war and they won't like where it goes." And Congressman Patrick Henry says, "It is a horrible precedent for this institution." You're watching Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner. Here today, Emily Campagno, New York Post columnist and Fox News contributor Miranda Devine, syndicated radio host and Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall, and in the center virtual couch seat, former Wisconsin congressman and Fox News contributor as well, Sean Duffy. Great to see everybody today. It is Friday Eve, people. So those are the facts. Leslie, do the facts matter to Democrats on this? That she said these things before she was elected?
The facts matter, but what you say, and that's interesting because Sean and I and his wife and I like each other, but we don't agree politically. So I like that he mentions that about Maxine Waters. Look, here's the problem. Republicans took former Congressman Steve King, who did not win his bid for re-election within his party, off 3 committees for doing and saying far less. Now, I know people are going to say, yes, but he was a congressman. Here's the problem. When you are supporting, when you are retweeting or liking, advocating violence, whether it's putting a bullet in Nancy Pelosi's head, executing FBI, hanging former President Barack Obama, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, that is very different. That is a line, especially when you have somebody who has made the comments that she's made.
Can I just step in and ask you one thing? Because you and I are plain speaking with each other. The voters knew all of that. Like this is history now. And they elected her. So when is it okay to take what their expectations are? I know you're not removing her from the House, but the expectation is that when you hire somebody as your elected official, that they get to go to committees that help their states, that help the country. I mean, why should anybody have the right to take away that elected official's potential rise?
When you look at the outrage from the parents of the victims, the parents and the family members surviving from Parkland and Sandy Hook as examples, and some of them are Republicans, they have been crying out for her to be removed specifically from the Education Committee. They don't want her making decisions regarding children when they see that she was harassing David Hogg, a child and a victim and a survivor of Parkland. That's part of the issue.
And one more thing very quickly, Harris.
There's going to be retribution. There's tit for tat. Democrat to Republican, Republican to Democrat. Every time somebody has and loses power, then the power changes hands again.
Right?
That was Democrat Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, her dramatic recounting of her experience in her office during the U.S. Capitol riots last month. But critics and lawmakers are accusing her now of exaggerating that story, pointing out that she was not even in the Capitol building at the time, but in the Cannon office building across from the Capitol. Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace tweeting, "I'm 2 doors down from her and no insurrectionists stormed our hallway." But Ocasio-Cortez tweeting to Mace a short time ago in reply, "This is a deeply cynical and disgusting attack. As the Capitol complex was stormed and people were being killed, none of us knew in the moment what areas were compromised. You previously told reporters yourself that you barricaded in your office, afraid you'd be hurt." Leslie, again, experiences are personal, but Miranda makes excellent points, which is that why is it impossible to acknowledge that she confused then someone who was there, a Capitol police officer there to protect her life, to give his life for hers if necessary? Why can't she address that? And if the tables were turned, Leslie, wouldn't this be called victim appropriation? And if so, why isn't that being called what this is?
Miranda just said despicable. AOC is not the only congressional member, Democrat or Republican, that has spoken about their experiences, their fear, and their fear for their life. She was not alone. She was with Congresswoman Katie Porter, who talked about AOC being fearful she wouldn't be able to have children. I'm going to read something from the DOJ. This is from their impact of trauma on sexual assault victims, which she said she is. I am also a sexual assault victim, so I can relate to this to a degree. Quote, Memories associated in the brain with trauma are recorded differently. And that's not just in the DOJ, Google all over psychology journals, Psychology Today. I don't feel that AOC needs any political gain. She has like an 80% approval rating in her district, easily won re-election. She is not doing this for political gain. And, you know, different people have different ways of dealing with things. Some people drink, some people eat, some people seek therapy. Some people find it cathartic to talk about it. And she has a very strong connection with the people who follow her on social media. That's how she communicates with those masses, if you will. So I think it's unfair that she's being picked out for this when other congressional members have spoken about their experiences. And Emily, you say right on, I love it. Everybody's experience is very personal, but the memories can be distorted when you are the victim of trauma or abuse.
Thank you, Leslie. Harris, quick thoughts?
I want to leave AOC out of this for a moment because I do feel that, you know, there's no room for politics when you're talking about this particular topic. Leslie, I'm sorry for what happened to you in your younger woman years.
Thank you.
And that you were a victim of sexual misconduct, of assault. I'm so sorry that that happened to you. None of us on this panel that I know of is a doctor, so it's impossible to know the motivations behind AOC or anybody else. But Leslie, you're a friend of the show, and I don't need a panel of experts to tell you that you are loved.
Oh, thank you, Harsh. You know, I love you and everybody on this program. Thank you.
Amen.
Time is running out. We need our kids back in school. We are failing those children by not giving them the option to return to school. Depression, isolation, and so much more. That is why we must get a deal done and get it done now without further delay.
A powerful moment earlier today when Chicago's Mayor Lori Lightfoot ripped the city's teachers union for lack of a deal to return to the classroom. Teachers unions in many large school districts, including in Chicago, say they won't go back until they get vaccinated. But the current science suggests that is not necessary to return safely. Here's CDC Chief Rochelle Walensky.
There is increasing data to suggest that schools can safely reopen, and that safe reopening does not suggest that teachers need to be vaccinated in order to reopen safely.
Leslie.
I posted the other day a GIF of somebody tearing their hair out because that's how I felt. And Sean, I thought of you because I have 2 children, so you win. You know, and I want my kids back in school.
Sean has like 8.
Here's the problem. First,
9.
First of all, obviously the unions don't own every Democrat, as people think. But that aside, here are the problems. There's a lot of fear out there.
Really?
Okay, fear from teachers that want to be vaccinated. Fear especially among teachers who have some kind of a health condition or underlying condition. And if you look at the Chicago Tribune, the teachers union actually listed all of the things specifically with regard to those teachers they were asking for that they said they did not get. And there's also been confusing information regarding vaccines, right? Everybody's got to get vaccinated. Teachers are essential workers and have to get vaccinated. But now we're hearing, nope, you don't have to be vaccinated. So I think
everybody needs to get vaccinated
eventually.
I mean, if we're going to wait for